In our last live stream, I made a super easy create farm for both wheat and trees. And the best part is it's achievable in the early game with very few resources and it's automatic. Here's how you can make one too. First, I start by creating a windmill. For something as low power as a farm, we don't need to go too crazy on the power generation. I start by having a windmill bearing sit atop a vertical gearbox. This allows me to split my output rotation however I want. Next, in the name of early game affordability, I create a pole out of wood planks. Off of that pole, I put my windmill sails. These are easily rotated with a create wrench if you place them in the wrong direction. Finally, you want to super glue this all together so the system knows what is part of the windmill and what isn't. Now you can click at the top of the bearing to activate it and see it all spinning and make sure it works perfectly. Now to create my first farm, I'm going to start by pulling some rotational energy underground and sending it off in the direction that I want my farm. Placing these shafts is super easy and can be stacked from one end. Then I'm going to use a vertical gearbox to send these shafts upwards to power a mechanical bearing, which works similar to the windmill bearing. Once again, in the name of affordability, I'm going to use wood planks as my frame. Placing one on top of the bearing and then right clicking with an empty hand will show the direction that they'll spin. This will be important for us later. I'm going to now create a simple frame by placing a row of wood blocks out in one direction from the bearing. And on the front of those, I'll place my harvesters and make sure that I super glue everything together. Once again, I'll activate my bearing to test that I have them on the correct side and they're spinning where I want them to. Now I'm going to build up the frame a bit more and put some storage on the top of the end so that there's somewhere for our harvest to be stored on board the machine. If we want to unload our resources each rotation, which I personally prefer, we can place a portable storage interface on the very edge and just shift the chest over one space. This will allow our machine to connect to another interface like a USB drive and unload our resources on each rotation. Just make sure once again to super glue everything and test that it spins correctly. Create the drop-off interface. You just place another portable storage interface with 2 blocks of space between them and making sure they face each other like I have here. You can use the wrench to rotate them as well. Then to drain it, you need to have a chute underneath the one to drop off that acts like a hopper, but more create mod friendly. For mine, I just have the chute output into a double chest, but you can send it towards another machine if you would like. More on why you might like that later. Once you add some water sources, some fences, till the land, and plant your first batch of seeds, you're ready to go with an auto wheat farm that doesn't require fragile villager slaves. To show you how versatile this design is, I'm also going to create a tree farm like I did in the live stream. So I start out here with the same exact base as the other machine, same in every way, except instead of putting harvesters on here, I'm going to put some saw blades on the front. This one is slightly more manual in that you need to place the saplings, but otherwise it's still far more automatic than I had hoped. You can see here I tested it with all kinds of saplings and went through all of them and deposited them in our drop chest. Super easy and convenient. It even cut through the dark oak logs. One final thing you can do to really spice up your farm is to add a grindstone, a blower fan with water, and a blower fan with a campfire. This helps a ton with growing wheat with the intention of making bread. Instead of the usual 3 wheat to 1 bread, you can turn 1 wheat into 1, sometimes 2 bread. First, you grind the wheat to get flour. When you get the flour, you drop it in front of the water fan and let it blow water onto it. After a while, this becomes dough. Finally, you can take the dough and place it in front of a campfire, and this will automatically smoke it into bread. This is a wonderful way to get more food from just a small amount of extra legwork, but also you can automate this like I was mentioning earlier. Maybe more on that in a future video. Thanks for sticking around. Let me know if these machines helped you out. If you have any requests for more create machines or guides of any other mods, let me know in the comments below. If you want to join our modded or vanilla servers, start by joining the discussion on Discord at www.umbra.club. And as always, thank you so much for watching.